All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to week 3 of Animation Scripting Design 365. Let's get started with the announcements. Remember that we're using Adobe Animate 2017 for this class. If you are not updated, please review the announcements about upgrading. Week 2 grades have been posted. Whoops. Week 2 grades have been posted. Please review the feedback, make any suggested changes, and resubmit. This will give you both practice as well as a chance at a higher grade. New policy: if it's obvious that your initial post is over 20% copied, I will have you redo it. Please review my feedback in the rubric of each grade. Notice, in the rubric, it's not down in the remarks section. Sometimes I'll put something in the remarks section, but usually it's up in the rubric. If it has to do with the whole thing, it'll go in the remarks, but each section up there, I will put comments on. It's information to help you out. By reaccomplishing it, it gives you more practice. By resubmitting it, your grade goes up. Read the information in the remarks section as well. Discussion posts. Initial posts need to be at least 250 words long. Make sure that your posts are less than 20% copied. Make sure that you have at least 2 references. Make sure that both your references are in APA format. And replies to posts do not count as initial posts. I've been seeing a lot of that, this mod and last mod. Can you get full credit after repost, or will your grade still be less? It depends what I took points off. Usually the grade will go to it'll be 2 points less. But sometimes, depending on what it was that you were correcting, it'll go up to the 100%, all right? If it's just a small thing that I had you fix, it could go up to 100%. So it's up to, depending on what you do. Naming, it depends. If you did the naming correct, the second time, usually that one comes back to 100% of the naming points. If I don't do that, just send me a message and I will fix it, okay? But yeah, if you resubmit with a proper naming convention, I will usually take it up to 100% for that section, okay? But again, if I don't, just send me a message saying, hey, you didn't quite do it there. Please let me know, okay? And again, replies to posts do not count as initial posts. Like I said, I've been seeing a lot of that, this mod and last mod. Rather than your initial post being your big 250 words at least, you're doing the responses and then Thursday or Friday doing your initial post. That's taking away from your peers to have a chance to respond. That's why it's due by Wednesday so that they can respond. So the grading for that being on time won't happen any longer if it's unless you've discussed it with me while you're late, all right? If you've talked to me and I said, okay, I get it, just post when you can. For example, we've still got people getting their power back from the disasters. So, and I don't know how far up, if any, into the U.S. the earthquake that hit Mexico got today. So there may be some side effects to that in Mexico, New Mexico as well, and Texas. So again, if I've agreed to it, that's fine. I don't take the points. But if you post early in the week, by Wednesday, a reply, and then you post later in the week, that will take your points for being on time for an initial post off, which is 3 points to your discussion. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. So, are there any questions before we go on? All right, now we're going to get into what to expect for this week. But before we do it, all right, notice all this coding. All this is in frame 1. All right? This is all how to do a timer countdown. Notice on the timeline, we just have 2 frames, okay? But all the coding is right here in 1. There's no real difference between the 2. All right? So let's go back to here, and I'm going to do something right now. And I'm going to ask you later in class about it, all right? So the date, 2017, 9, and class ends at 9:30, which is 21 hours. The 19th, so 21 hours and 30 minutes, all right? So the 2017 September, that's what this 9 is, 19th at 21:30. So it's 24-hour time. Those of you who don't know, 24-hour time would be 9:30 Mountain Standard Time, so it's 21:30 Mountain Standard Time. All right, so we're going to save that and do the command enter. Like I said, I'm going to have you watch this on and off. I'm going to leave it right here, all right, as we do class. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and open up the classroom. Okay, so week 3. What we're working on week 3. Define and execute a good composition for UX and UI. So at the end of this week, your project has to be finished. All right? No, when you submit it, it's completed. All the parts, everything working. Create high-level functionality with scripting to engage the end user. If you use no scripting, your points this week, that's at least 90% of your grade. No scripting means that's 90% off. What scripting depends on you and what you decided to make your thing do and how you're going to achieve that, all right? So I'm leaving that up to you. I'm not telling anybody how to do the scripting exactly, all right? That's for you to decide, but I'm going to show you how scripting works. So you'll be able to develop a script library for this and future animated projects, okay? So you're going to design something also that you just click on and boom, it puts it in there, all right? So you'll save it so it can be used anytime. That being said, now we're going to go ahead and move on to the discussion. All right, many designers don't have the time or even the ability to write JavaScript code from scratch. Now, JavaScript code is code that we use with ActionScript. So that means ActionScript designs. Excuse me, ActionScript goes with the Flash designs for regular Flash players. And JavaScript goes with your bring this up. Come on, let's bring it up. Okay, and JavaScript goes with HTML5 canvas. All right, so anything that's air or this is all ActionScript. All right, so anything for the air is ActionScript. HTML5 is JavaScript. For this discussion, you'll research sources for JavaScript code snippet tutorials that are not already in Animate, formerly Flash, interface, like Go To and Play. All right, so we're going to talk about some of these today and tomorrow. 2 tutorials on creating animations using HTML5 Canvas and JavaScript. You're going to find 2 of them. When you find those 2, you're going to list the title of the tutorial, put a link to the source of your snippet, and describe what the code does and how it could be utilized in your project and future projects. So in other words, the coding that you're finding needs to work in the project that you're creating for your final, the one that you're creating for this week. And that could be as simple as the go to and play. So you're just finding just some of them, okay? Some tutorials on how to use stuff like that. Describe what the code does and how it can be utilized project and future projects. Do not just link to a page that lists a bunch of snippets. It must have either a step-by-step video or tutorial that explains how to write the code to create the animation. If there are more than 1 tutorials on the page, make sure you title it with the same name as on the website. Okay, I get that. If I lose you, I'll know that you lost your internet. All right, bookmark the tutorials that interest you for future references. Okay, so bookmarking them, just make sure you save those so that you have a list for later. All right. Well, right now, you're going to put it in there. We're gathering useful tutorials that will help you expand your expertise animating in HTML5 Canvas. This is a collaborative effort to help you gather a good library for future references. So, make sure that you look up at other posts so you're not using the same tutorials and same commands, all right? Everybody should have different commands for this. All right, so a good example would be like go to and play. Title of the article, the link, and this command is used to control, so what it is. On key down. Title, link, and how they can be used together. And then a reference to each one of them. And the reference needs to be in APA format underneath. If it's not, you lose the points for your references. And I'm stressing that because references have seemed to be the one thing that we're weak on. Let's work on strengthening up our references. All right, the assignment for this week. Take the documents you created in week 2 and create the different states animation on the timeline. So you're making it animated now. So you've gone from just putting the stuff in there. This week, you're animating them. Name your web document. This is the web document. Now remember, put file organization this week. I'm going to be grading on the file organization. Make sure to split them out into the 2 folders. One for web, one for mobile, like I did last week. And the reason is, this way it helps keep them straight, and I don't have to sit there trying to decipher what goes to what. Because in certain parts of this, once you publish it next week, you will overwrite the others. So you have to make sure you put them in 2 folders. So one folder is going to be named this, or web, as long as the file itself inside is named that. All right, so one's going to be a web folder, one's a mobile folder. If your document is native FLF file, save the document in its own folder. All right. If your document is native HTML5 Canvas, save the file in its own folder. So in other words, right now, each one is going to be separate. So let's bring up what we did last week. All right, so last week we were doing Tiers Taekwondo Academy. All right. So as you see, this is what we turned in, right? I zipped that and submitted it. Now, mobile, what we need to do is a new folder. And this was actually done in ActionScript. All right. So this will go right to there. This I'm going to delete. You don't have to submit that because once I run it, as soon as I open this and run it, it creates that. Because I've seen a lot of people save this and then they'll have that flashed, but they're totally different. So I don't even look at that flash anymore. I mean, I don't look at the Swift anymore. I look at this and then run it, even when I get to the website. All right. So, and then same here, right click, new folder, ActionScript. That gets moved up. This one goes, the Swift gets put in the trash. All right, so now mobile, ActionScript. I double click to open it. All right, now that that's open, do I still have you with me? All right, cool. All right, now let's talk about, come on, it's a quiz again, all right? So we'll talk about that tonight and tomorrow night, what's expected in the quiz, all right? Okay, so I loaded what I started last week, right? Fit in the window. All right, so I have my guy flying in, and I have the belts and all that. So this is the mobile. Let's go ahead and instead go to the web because that's the one I created and started getting everything going. All right, so this we're going to fit to window. All right, we go back to the timeline. And notice that last week we started this. We had everything laid out. So when I run it, the guy flies in and stops. Let's go to the belts. Okay. So we've got it. Terms, the PUMSE, which is the forms. Notice that one's not working and SUBUM's not working. So we need to go back and make sure those work. All right, now, question. This right here. Have you been looking at it on and off as I'm doing this and getting sidetracked watching it? Or did I? Oh, okay. This right here, the timer. You keep glancing at it, don't you? It keeps pulling your attention to it, right? Not really, but you have looked and watched the time, right? Okay, now with the time, some people do, some people won't. If there was more animation, a lot of people are going to keep cutting over to that just because there's something moving. This is a good thing to demonstrate how the animation can And right now, the user interface is perfect for what it's doing. It's a timer. So it's not really pulling your attention away because it's a timer. A timer's made to look at every once in a while. Correct? It's not made to sit there and stare. That'd be really boring. Yep. And then, so because of that, now if I have other animation, it would pull your eyes to it as the good user experience. So if you wanted this to keep their attention, this is a bad user experience because it's just a timer. And you're going to glance at it once in a great while to see where we're at. Especially the longer we go into class, you're going to be, is it over yet? Right? That's what most people do with timers and clocks. So that's something to think about. All right. A good user experience is, that's all I want from this, is for you to glance once in a while, see how long's left. If I wanted to keep your attention to it, I'd put more animation in there. That's a good user experience, or something to keep the attention. Okay. So I did that to demonstrate how that could work. So we're done with that. It's gone. Now I can bring everything larger again. All right. So there we have it. Now, what I want to talk about really quick, we started going into the coding last week, right, of the buttons. So we're going to check terms. Well, let's look. It was given at button 18. So let's go back here and look at that action script. All right, so that's in frame 1. Action, frame 1. Okay, button 1, 10, 18. So it goes to and stops at 40. Well, let's take a look at 40. Go to and stop 40. Notice that's right there, the terms. All right, so the terms work. Now the forms has no name. That means we didn't give it an action script. That was the last one right there. Okay, so now we want to go to, for that one, it's going to be the forms. Which we didn't even create over here. Okay, so what does that show that we didn't do properly last week? If I didn't add it to begin with, what didn't I do right? Other than just not adding it. What did I do wrong? Let's move this in so I could see everything that you type. Okay, you cut it again. Sorry about that. All right, so you saw that forms, PUMSE, are not even listed here. So what does that mean? Other than I didn't do it. It's not listed here. There's no button for it yet. You're gonna have to watch it later, see if you can fix your internet. Okay. If you can make it back to class, that would be good. And nope, not the wrong point in the timeline. What it is, before you go then, is that it is the, I didn't plan it out properly, or I would have built it in the preparations, right? Something to think about. And that comes with what? What makes that preparation work? What makes it work right is the very beginning we create them, the storyboards. If you leave one out of the storyboards, you just left it out of here and you have to go back and rebuild it in. All right, so now if we have to rebuild it in, well, look, now I have to go out somewhere else and place it. So it's going to be right here in 46. New layer, forms, or PUMSE. Okay. And they're going to start right here. So right click. I'm going to convert to blank keyframes after that. All this is going to, whoops, if you hit right here, it selects that whole thing. Okay, so I want to hit just that. Right click. And I want to clear those frames. But I just cleared that because I cleared the keyframe. So watch what you're doing there. These now convert to blank keyframes. Now I've just made everything blank one frame at a time. So honestly, this is already blank. So we're going to write here and we're going to create a new one. But here, the reason you see this stuff is because it comes in down here. All right. So now let's go to here. So PUMSE. Well, this is where we start putting up the list of forms. And if you remember back, I had a whole big list of them. And I'm going to break this out easily. Let me grab those notes. Sorry about that. Normally I have them with me and I just cleaned my desk, so they were still moved. All right, so now we're going to look at the forms that were required, okay? And when I was talking about the forms, I had a whole list of them, right? So with the forms, we're going to start. We had Paul Gay's, the basic forms, 1 through 4. Paul Gay's. So let's go ahead and we're going to go back here. Grab that. And I want to unlock. So I'm going to grab that, right click, copy. Now I go up to here, right there, right click, paste in place. So it goes to right there. But I really want that right there in the center. And I don't need this spot for this one. All I needed was that, right? And now I can change that. PUMSE. And we could shrink that down. Just move it to the center. So now we're going to have basic forms. Portuguese. Tagalog. And Chun and Yu. And I'm going to go back and correct the spelling here later. Okay, right now we're getting them up here. Now, notice basic forms. Well, one through four. And you know what? Instead of doing this, what I'm going to do, delete that, come to here, enter 1 through 4. Now I want to center that. So we'll come over here, we'll center it. Portuguese, 1 through 8. We're going to bring that back. There. Center it. Tagalog, same thing. 1 through 8. Center. Changhonyun, 1 through 8. And center it. All right, so as you can see, now the thing is, these are each going to be buttons. All right, so you'll notice this won't leave them up here so you can see them, right? So what I'm going to do, move that to right there. This one to here. And we're going to basically make it fit. One. Tagalog, the same thing, make it fit. Take this up. There. Changhonyun, same thing. And there we have it. So now we have them, but see, they're still a little too close together. But what I can do to make this fit is just go up there. I have them at 35. Let's go to 30. Now there's a little space between them, right? Okay, now if I make those buttons, watch what happens. So this, so they're going to be going to different pages, all right? So right click, and this is going to be a convert to symbol, basic forms, underscore BTN. And since I'm one for the old form, I'm going to still make everything lowercase, underscore instead of spaces. Okay, so that's the basic form. Now the Portuguese. Let me double check the spelling really quick. Let's see. I apologize. Usually I have this P-A-L-G-U-E. So I was right. P-A-L, but it's all one word. G-U-E. Okay. So that, let's see. right click, convert, Command V, Poge, Poges underscore BTN. Poge Teguk. And I may have misspelled that one as well. Let's do a quick look here. You know, I don't think I have the correct spelling for that. So what I'm going to do is it's Chungun. No, Teguk, that's right. So the Teguks, we're going to go ahead and probably would be like this. And then this one, go back, okay. No, I'd leave that Poges. Teguk, make it the button, convert the symbol, V, that should be S, underscore, BTN. And again, consistency. What did I do wrong there? I want you to think about that because we go over here. Let's see. Teguks. Okay, we've got that. Poges. Let's look at the Poges button. Oh, I capitalized it. So I'm just going to double click there, take that out, and make it a lower P. All right, see how easy that is to make that correction. Now the Chunghon Yun. That we're going to Yun. There we go. Like I said, I'm going to double check the spelling later. So now I'm going to right click, convert to symbol, Chunghon use underscore, little, or lowercase. Let's see. And there's my buttons. All right, so that's going to take me to the buttons. All right, so now that is this page. All right, so we're going to take this out. Convert, so remove the frames. So that puts me right here. So that means this form, this page here, goes to that button, which is 46. All right, so let's click on it. Go back to here to my actions. Notice I'm in frame 1. Code snippets. Easiest way to code. Remember, we're still in ActionScript. Timeline navigation. Go to frame and stop. Oh, I didn't select it, so Pumse. There we go. Symbol requires an instant name. We're going to let it give it to it. And that is now 46. All right? So now watch. Now we'll run it. All right? Belt. And you're noticing if I'm between the letters, the button's not working. Okay? And that's the way it is on all of these. See how if I'm in between them, it doesn't work? I have to actually be on the letter. And even in the spaces between the letter, it doesn't work. Or the center of the O. You have to be right on it, right? Well, that issue is easily fixed. And what we're going to do to fix it is we're going to collect this. I'm going to take a shape. And the fill is going to be this color, all right? So we're going to grab it just to make sure. FFEDA7, all right? Now, we go to here, and we're going to do this with each one of these as well. So I click on the home. Well, it's not going to work. So let's go here. Now that we're in it, it's going to work. So we click on that. I'm now in the home button, okay? So what I'm going to do is use this button. Now watch as I do this. Let's do it again. And I'm going to turn off the border. And we're going to go like this. Take that to there. All right, now we're going to arrange that so it fits just to there. Now watch. We save that, and now watch the difference. Notice, oh, come on, you're supposed to do it all. Come on, let's go back, see why it didn't. So we're going to make that one for it to symbol. We're going to make it a graphic. Okay, there we go. Save, and now run it. And yeah, see how that's the issue with this? It's still doing it. All right, so no matter what we do, it's going to do that. To fix that, this is why we have Photoshop, all right? And we create these over in Photoshop, then bring them in with the background, okay? I hope that makes sense. So for right now, I'm not going to worry about that. I've now demonstrated why you need that. So we're going to take it out. Okay, so now we're back to here. Make sure that that's gone. Yeah. Okay, so now we're back to here. So we've got all our frames, 46. So we'll work on that one later, okay? So that's just something to think about as you're doing your buttons and why they do some things that they do. All right, now, what I want to do is, oh, come on. All right, so now we're going to go to 46. We have this. All right, now I click on one of these, and it's going to take me to the forms page, all right? So I click on it, and these buttons will stay up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them, and notice the spacing difference now, because what happened was I went back and corrected the spelling, right? So when you do that, then you're going to have to make sure to fix the spacing. But for right now, what we're going to do is that's going to just go up, 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 this, up, and I'm going to take a line across this way. It helps me set that. Perfect. All right, so with that there, now we just take this off and it's gone. All right, now, since those are buttons, so now I can, right here, make those all the same. Or what I could do is new layer, starting right here, I'm going to convert to blank keyframes. All right. And now on up here, I'm going to put all the forms pages. Okay. Let's see. This is going to be let's start with the basics. Basic forms. Okay. Let's go back to there. Basic forms. So right here, now what we're going to do is I'm going to create another page. But all I have to do is go to right here, click, insert frame. So that goes all the way across, okay? So we're going to start by, what I'm going to do is just draw the shapes of the forms for the pages, okay? So we're not going to put all the pages in today. That's something I could do later. But what I'm going to do is right here is the main page. So the PIMSA main page right here is the basics. So Command CV, and I want to go into that button. Come on, let me in. There we go. C. Okay. All right. So since this is the first page of it, Command V. It's going to be, there's only 4. So this will be 1. Okay. So Command C, V. This will center the same way. 2. Three, and 4. All right, so there's my forms. Now, the basic forms are real simple. They're all shaped pretty much the same way. All right, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw their shape. And this is all we're going to do. I'm not going to go into each form basically, all right? So this is your basic forms. So this to here will be remove frames. All right, so there we go. All right, and I'm not going to do all these right now. So this is just for demonstration purposes. All right, so, and normally I'd make it so I click on them and go in them and they go further. But now I'm going to draw the shapes. And then we'll just zoom in to make sure I got them accurate. There we go. Looks about right, doesn't it? Get it up just a little, and there we go. Let me double check. Perfect. They're all connected. Now we're going to, you notice they're a little off. So all I have to do is right click and transform. Notice how I'm building more to it. So I didn't have everything in it. And this is what I was talking about. You needed to have everything in last week. And you can see I didn't. So let's do a free transform. And how that works? Perfect. Right now, the other thing I want to do, properties, is we're going to use my arrow keys. Perfect. That's probably one too many. All right, so let's see. And we're going to fit to window. And we'll just grab this one. Whoops. Make sure to select the whole thing. And then we'll just take this one down to here the same way. And there we have it. All right, now this is frame 47. So clicking on this button, now we're going to go back to here. Now the thing is, with this, let's look where we're at. Because the buttons are right here, I'm going to take all that out. Okay, so right here is where we start those. So 46, this one is going to take us to 47 and stop. So code snippet. Now watch where I put this. Go to frame and stop. Instant name. Notice it's in frame 46. Okay. Now, if I want this, I'm going to convert that to a button as well. This way, no matter where I'm at, I'm always going back to there. So right click, convert the symbol. And this is, I'm say, inner because I'm on the next level over on the next page rather than here's my Pumse button. So this will be the inner button because it's inside of that, okay? Inner underscore BTN. And we will make it a button. Okay, there. Now, that one will always, no matter which page we're on in these, take us back to 46. All right, so we're going to go back to 46. Now that button will go the whole length just as well. So click here, code snippet, frame and stop, yes, 46. Granted, it seems like duplicate, but when we run it, save, it's not. Oh, I have an error. All right, so we look at this function, go to void. So 47. Go to and stop. So let's take a look. Go to 47. Choose right here. And stop. Notice where I put the code though. The code's right here for that button. Now that button, if I turn this off, is still there. So let's take a look and see what we did. So we're going to go to the 46. 46. We're going to take that one out. And we're going to do this once again. So code snippets, go to frame and stop. 47. Notice it was 46 before, right? Now watch. Okay, we stop. Forms. PubSay stays right there. Basic forms. We're in there. Now we click PubSay. It's back to this basic one. All right. So that's how that works. And the reason it wasn't working is because I had it going to itself. So it was saying, this doesn't seem right. All right, now we're going to take a look at all this code. Well, first, let's bring that back up. There we go. All right, now, so far we've done the buttons, okay? Let's say on this one here, I haven't created that one yet. So we're going to go back to frame 1. Okay. And I need to create it, okay? Now, I'm going to change this. Right now, I said it's this instructor. So we're going to say that this will now go to, okay, so this puts us right here. Right click, convert to blank keyframe. All right, now, this up here is totally blank, right? So that's where this one's going. This one's going to go to right there. This whole thing we don't need again. Right click, remove the frames. Go to here. All right, now this, I need to make sure. Well, first, that's 48, all right? So now I need to make sure I'm in frame 1. If I'm not in frame 1, this doesn't work. Now the camera, we don't need the camera. We decided, so it's gone. All right, so now frame 1, go to the actions. Notice it puts me on frame 1. If I go to 30, now watch. See, it puts me on frame 30. So, but I could also bounce around this way. So I'm going to go here. Now, click this. Code snippet. Go to frame and stop. Okay. $48. Was it 48 or 38? Go back. Yep. 48. So 48. All right. Now we're going to save it. Now watch. And enter. So, belts, terms. Oh, I didn't do the terms yet. PubSay. If I go back, It takes me to the main home Boomsay page. Or I can go like so, boom. Now that's blank, all right? All right, so at this point, we're gonna take a 10-minute break. When we come back, we're gonna build some more code. And this is where we're going to bring the code in and make it, okay? So we're gonna save that right where we're at. All right, now I'll see you in 10 minutes. So it will be 8:42. Well, let's quickly put until break is over. Let's not capitalize that. Break is over. So let's go back to my actions. So now it's going to be 8:34. So instead of 21, now it's 20. And no Siri. So 20:43. All right. All right, welcome back. So as you can see, when the timer hits 0, it continues to go, but it's not a negative. The way it's written, basically I have 23 hours, 59 minutes, 31 seconds to go. So it's an error within the code, but it depends what you're using the code for. So for this case, it should have stopped. So that's something you need to be aware of when you grab code, all right? And that's why I wanted to demonstrate that. All right, so now we're back. We're going to delete that. All right, now what I'm going to do is, all right, notice they're both open. On here, what I'm going to do is go to my library, and notice if I drop it to time, this is all that's over there. Okay, now the font, I want to bring it over and put it right here. Notice nothing came across, right? All that is it's bringing the font style, okay? So now let's take a look at here. We click here, look at the properties. Static text, but it has nothing to it. Dynamic countdown text. All right, so I'm going to copy that. Now go back over to here and place it right here. And we're going to put it right there. Now, one thing, that definitely isn't going to work for a color. So let's go to black so it works. All right, so now I click on it. Notice I brought over the instance name as well. Okay, so once you have things, this is the easiest way to do your coding. Now comes the fun part. So right here is where we're at. Oh, what did I do wrong? Okay, so layer 3 is going to be forgot where I was for a second. All right, so now that's the sub-hum, which is instructor. Notice, where did I place that? I placed it at the very beginning. We don't want it there, so Command-C, delete. So we're going to go to right here, right-click, again, paste in place. Puts it right back where it was. Now, notice, still, countdown text, dynamic text. I brought the exact same thing over all the elements, okay? Nice way to repeat your stuff. So now I need to add the coding here. All right, so we're going to go back to it, easiest way. And we're going to go to the actions, Command-A-C. Now, theoretically, this should all work because it's copied, and you'll notice it comes down here. Countdown text equals, okay? So that should all work because I left that as countdown text. So now, frame 48, Command-V, all right? And I'm going to put, now I'm going to put a countdown of the 9th month, which is September, 19th day today, 21:30. That's Mountain Standard Time. Goes off the clock I'm on. Okay? Goes off my time. So it goes based off of the clock on the computer that it's on. So when you put it on the server, it goes off of the server time, not your computer, not someone else's. It goes off the server. So you need to know where your servers are for this. All right? Now, anyway, now we go this to the next step. Okay, so now we save it. Now watch. We run it. Then we go to there, and there's the time. But it's not running. Why not? What did we do wrong? Go to terms, belts, go back. Notice it is running, just not visible. Okay? So that's something you have to also be aware of when you bring this over. Why won't it work? Well, Arial bold, dynamic. Okay. I took all the code. So based off of this code, it'll only show it when you go back to it. Okay? It's not going to show the countdown. Now, if you want the countdown to show, what we're going to do is we're going to go to here, go to 48, Command AC. Gone now. Go back to frame 1. Enter, Command V. Now, we're going to go to timeline. Well, we go to here. We're going to copy that and delete it. Now we're going to go back to 1. And I'm going to lock everything. Go down to the main graphics. Which remember, the main graphics are those. And right here, Command V. All right, now I'm going to put this right there, just for fun. Now watch the difference. Again, it's not. So sometimes when you copy things over, they're not going to always work until you redo it. Okay? But something else we can do, what we're going to do is now we're going to go to this, and we're going to take the code actions. So 21, 30. Save it. Now we're going to go back over to here. And I am going to, at 47, what I'm going to do is File, Import, let's see, to Library. Now we're going to go back to 365. We go timer. Notice you can't import those, right? So the way to do that is we're going to go to here. Now watch. If I do this, dropped it here. Well, that's not going to work unless I unlock that. Now, let's do this again. Notice it still didn't work. And that didn't go anywhere here. Okay? So you can't just import one. Now, but there are other routes to do this. And now we're going to add some more code. So let's go to the actions. Go back here. So 48. Take all that out. Okay. Now we're going to, and this is, I'm going to show you how to get code to work that you want. All right. So we're going to timeline 48. So actions 48. Now I want to load an external Swift. Okay. So what do we have to do? Now, action script 3, because this is action script 3. Script to load external Swift. Now I'm showing you this so that you know how to start looking your stuff up. And this goes with your discussion as well. So how to load it? Let's go take a look. Okay. Action script. Oh, look, there is the loading. So we're going to grab that, all right? And this is what we're doing. And you'll see why we're grabbing other code so that you can start to learn to do this, all right? Because there's no need, and this is something programmers do, there's no need to redo your stuff, okay? So now what I need to also do is take this Swift so we're going to do this. Make sure it's working. Okay, so that's working, right? Now, what we're going to do is take that, right-click, copy it. I didn't duplicate, I just copied. Now we're going to go back to here. This is the web version, action script, Command V. All right, now, let's widen this up so we can see what that is. Okay, so this is, we click on it, there's that. So I copied the wrong thing. Now I click on this. Yeah, see, I copied the wrong thing. So we're going to delete that, move to trash. File organization again, all right? Like I was saying. So to get there, what we need to do is go back to classes, see the timer. Now this, right click, copy. Now if I click it, look, it's running, right? So we have 33 minutes left of class. So now we go back to here, and we're going to go back into the web, action script, and paste. All right, so the timer's there. So now I go here, and I want to go to this one. All right, now see where it says external Swift? We're going to call that timer. Now watch. It's not showing because, well, I didn't load it. So we go to here. And it's there, and see it's working. So what we need to do now is there is an error. Number text error 2036, okay? Load did not complete. Well, let's see. Let's go back to the timeline. It's right here. Oh, look where I put my code. All right? So the code cannot go there. Bad. Put all your actions on the same line. So Command A, C, delete. Now we're going to go to here. All right? Code, actions, Command V. There we go. Swift, timer. And we need to change it here too. Now, Notice there's no errors this time, but that didn't load where I need it. Okay, so what we have to do is take a look. All right, now I'm going to enlarge this. Notice 10, 175. So I need to figure this out. I'm going to put over here, let's go to the timeline, it's right here. All right, so that's the size I need. How do we figure that out? Well, let's just look up here. We're going to click it. All right, so that 505.90, 58.75. Okay. Hmm. 505.90, 58.75. So look at the difference now. So there's one there and one here. I now have two loaded. Well, let's take another look here. Notice optional second Swift. All right. So the first one, we're going to make this larger so you can see it all for right now. All right, the load, optional here, load. And notice that's the first one, so I don't need this one. So I duplicated my work there. Now watch. And we can't see anything because, well, it's white. So what I need to do is we have to go back to this one. And let's go to here. I'm going to lower this down. And I'm going to make it all blue. All right. So we're going to grab a blue here for now, just for this purpose, okay? And we're going to do the same thing here. And here. All right. Now we're going to save it. And Command Enter. All right, so that's working. Now we're going to go back over. And, well, what did we do wrong? Remember, when I copied it, now I don't want this. I don't need this any longer. That's gone. But now I go back. I don't need this any longer because that just gave me my command, right? So now all I need is to do this. Well, to make that load, what I have to do, let's go back to here. We're going to go back to the file where I have it. Timer. This is the one that's running. All right. So right click and we're going to copy. Notice I have a capital T here. Over there, I put a little t. It's still loading it. Think about that. So this is where HTML5 starts getting smarter in ActionScript, okay? Now, what we're going to do is go to here, 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 ActionScript. Notice I have it there. So we're going to go here. That's the one with white text. So now we're going to move that one to the trash. Move to trash. Command V. Now watch the difference. because now I changed that external file, it's working. Oops. Now I have that. So, well, let's move it over more. So that was really easy. So let's go to 100. Now you got to play with the code. Oh, it didn't do it. Okay. Notice it's going down. So we're just going to go Command Z, Z. Now this one I want over more. So let's do 605. See how that's starting to move over? 7. And this is how you get your stuff lined up. Oh, it's too wide. Well, now let's go back and take a look. Notice there's no size here. Based off of this size is what this is, okay? This whole thing now comes over. You'll see, okay? So even if it's outside the frame, it will still come over. All right, so that being said, now you're starting to see how to go get it. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take this, all right? Go to Code Snippets. Notice we have no choice here, right? Motion Presets. This is where you put your own code. So, Defaults, Custom. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to now save a selection as a preset. In order to save your animation as custom motion preset, first you need to select a tween object on the stage. Well, we're not doing that. All right. Notice I just closed it there. So let's bring it back up. Now, what I want to do is take that action, all right, copy it. Now let's go up here to Window, Actions. Well, we come over to here, Format Code. Well, that just did it so everything's consistent. Code Snippets. Well, let's take a look at Code Snippets. Add to current frame, copy to clipboard. Doesn't show. So what we want to do is go back to here. Command A, right click. Now, go up here. Well, we've already got it selected. We can't copy it. We can't fold it. Comment selection, uncomment. So comments are the gray. All right. Format code, toggle, and view help. Now, in case you forget how to save your personal code snippets, well, there's a couple things you can do. Put them in your library. CC Libraries. Code snippets, compiler, debug output. I'm going over everything that's here. Components. Well, let's look at the components. User interface. Oh, look, these are things I can add as my user interface. All right. Also, come down here, video. I could have, rather than went and looked it up, just gone to here. Okay. So these are all things that you could start to play with. Window. extensions, browse add-ons, so you can add add-ons to it. Workspaces, hide panel. Okay, so you want to save your own code. Well, there's no option for it except come to here, create new code snippet. Title. Well, first, let me go Command C. All right. Now let's go to code snippets. Create your own new one. Title, and this is load SWF file. Okay, well, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Use code selected in Actions panel. I could just do that. So that's it. Or I could do Command V. And then if I click, automatically replace instance names. So it'll automatically choose to do it. Okay, and say OK. Please enter a value for description. Like I said, self-explanatory. So I'm just going to put the same thing. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, Command A, delete. Now we run it. See, nothing's there. Now, I want to use that stuff later. So that's why I put it in there. Let's go to code snippets. Notice, custom. I click there. It requires an object selected on stage. Well, there is no object, right, for that one. This is where, notice, we can't do that. Let's go back to the timeline right here. And I'm going to do this. Go to it. So now I double click it. Okay. Code snippets, load. Your selection must be converted to a movie clip. Okay. Now watch. See how there's now a blue background there while it plays it? But look, we're off again. And now that I did a blue background, well, now we got to go back, change this blue. So that is actually going to be that color. Okay. And I don't need this one here. We'll leave it. All right, so now that, C, well, the symbol 2, delete. I need to go to 48, and V. Okay, and it's now we're going to get rid of the stroke. There we go. All right, so now I have that there. So this is how you go and use that same code now. All right, so now notice the code's there. Command A, we're going to delete. Okay, now we're going to come back here. We're going to select that. Go to code snippet, load. Convert to that, yes. Now watch. Okay, notice it's a little off again. So now we have to adjust the spacing. All right, so 505, that puts it too low, too far, not far enough in, right? But that goes based off of that. Okay, so now we're going to take this to 705. See how well that works? Almost there, but it's still too big again. Now we need to go up as well. And I kind of like the way that sits outside of that. So we're going to use that as is, and we're going to go up 150. Almost. We're going to go down just a little till it lines up with this. Okay. So 145. Oh, almost, but I went the wrong way. So 155. In fact, let's do 160. Now you're starting to see how to do your own code. Oh, perfect. See how that lines up now? And it makes it look like, oh, I'm coming out of that border. So we could probably take it back a little, but I like where it's at because my legs line up with the border now. All right. It's probably a little big, but this can be taken out. But that is code, and that's how you reuse the code. All right, so you create your own code. All I did was copy that code from the web. I went out and got it. All right. Like I said, that's out there. That's already there. But now you see how to go get your own and do this. All right, now with that, then what we could do. Well, and you notice, let's do this again. Because of that, watch. That's why this is working now, because I just loaded that video, and that was it. Now she looks like she's a TV on the wall. Okay? So when you import a video, you're loading a video, what you're actually doing is you're playing it there. Now, let's say, let's go back, file, open, recent, and we're going to get the timer again, all right? Now, what I want to do is file, export as a video. All right, and now I'm going to browse to where I want this. So instead of placing it in the timer, I want to put it to let's just do this the easy way, tiers and web action script, and I want it here. .mov. Okay, and save and export. Now, instead, now I can close this, and then I can go to here, and let's see, 48, and instead of timer Swift, timer MOV. Watch the difference. And go to here. Notice it didn't load because the Swift does not like to run that. So that's something on MOV will have to be HTML5 instead. Okay. Or you could do a movie, but it depends because the Swift files are very picky with what they run. Now see unloaded, the file did not load. It's an unknown type. So what we need to see is, let's go back. I don't need this. And we're going to go to here again. Now, what we're going to do, and by the way, this is a my loader comment. myloader.lod, URL, and so on, okay? Now, it doesn't tell you what videos here, does it? Come up here, it does. Placing context in a separate SWF file is similar to placing content in its movie clip symbol. The difference is that content exists at the main SWF file. So it's outside of that. You can also load image files such as JPEG, PNG, or GIFs. So this tells you exactly what ones you can and can't load. You go down. And this is all of the script for HTML3, ActionScript 3. So don't do the ActionScript 2 because we are up to 3, okay? Look how much easier it was. Now, a movie number, still Swifts. Okay? So that's something to think about as you're doing this. But if we were to do HTML5, we can use that coding. So, all right, so that tells us about that. You see how to get the code, see how to make your own coding for later use. And you see how to adapt it so that it works for what you want, right? Whoops. Sorry about that. All right, so now we're going to close that. So you've seen how to get all that. You saw the timer. You saw the issue with just taking the timer in. You need to create it inside of it rather than just try to bring the timer itself in. And, well, if it's already created, why am I copying and pasting it? Let's just bring the whole thing over, if that makes sense. Best way to do it, right? So you just import the Swift that's already there. Now, the problem you come to with a Swift file is a lot of web browsers are slowly getting away from that. If you have an Apple, an iPad, Swift files won't work on it. So these are things to think about as you go. All right, so next, now you've started to see how to use the coding. So you see the code snippets. Motion presets. Now, a motion preset, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to create something new. Now, custom preset, spinning in. I'm going to make my own, and I'll show you how to do this as well, because that's not coding, all right? So, file, new, and we'll do that. All right, so what I'm going to do, first off, get rid of that really brightness. All right, now, I'm going to take a star, there we go, is the star. And we're going to shrink it down. All right, now I'm going to have this star spin in. Okay, so to do that, what I want to do is I'm going to double click this. Click it and apply. Well, it has to be a tween, so there we go. It's now a tween. Notice the timeline goes out to that. And this is what happens. Oh, it's way off the screen. So we're going to put it right here. All right. And there we go. So this is a zoom in. Okay. Now, easy way to reverse that. Go over here. And now we're going to go from here to here. We're going to right click and copy frames. Go to right here, right click, paste frames. Ah, it crashed. Let's try that again. Yeah, we'll keep going. All right, so that's recovered. We'll just shut it down. All right, now we're going to do a new one. And let's just do action script 3. And again, we go to a blue background. And we're going to grab that. Close enough for this. Options. Star 5. 5. Okay. All right, now, and we're going to shrink it down. All right, now we have it. Notice it's just one. Motion presets. Spinning in. And apply. Make it that, yes, so we go back to the timeline. All right, so now it's just one timeline. So we're going to copy the frames, come to right here, paste frames. Notice that it just basically does what it was doing to begin with. There, start over. Well, now all I have to do is right click and come up here to come down here to reverse keyframes. Now watch. See, now it's going opposite as it goes back. All right, now I'm going to make my own. So we're going to delete this. No. And we're going to say new. And we're going to go to blue. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to get this. Options, let's go to a 15-pointed star. All right, so there's that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that down, and I'm going to take that, go to 50, insert frame. Right click, convert to motion tween. Cannot be because it needs to be a symbol. All right, so there we go. So we're going to go to the end, and we're going to go to here. All right, now what I want to do is 10. $20. 30. And 40. And for 40, what I want to do is this, and we're going to curve it out, make it bounce. All right, so this is what we have. Okay, so it's similar, but now you can see it's curving instead of solid line at the end, right? Well, now what I'm going to do is go to Motion Presets, New, Save Preset As, we're going to call it Bounce. Notice now there's a bounce. So we're going to close this. No. File, New. All right, let's take this one. Action script. Okay. So now I'm going to do a ball. And we're going to take it right here. Now, bounce, apply. Needs to be converted. There we go. Now watch. I've just created my own tween, so you could save your tweens and reuse them in other files as well. So you've seen how to do that with your coding, how to do it with your tweens, all right? So as you start building, you're going to have your own library of code. And like I said, why rewrite it? Why recreate it? If you could find it, use what other people have, because code's not copyrighted. The graphics and what happens in their video are, but the actual code is not copyrighted, okay? Because if you do that, nobody can use those, nobody can now any longer use it. So people cannot copyright the code. Because let's face it, there's only so much you can do with the code, and if they start copywriting it, well, you've just lost being able to do that bounce. You've lost being able to do the load and play, all right? So think about that, and we'll go into that some more tomorrow night. That being said, we're going to go ahead now. Watch how you delete this. Just delete it and delete, and there we go. So now I want the spinning and apply. Need to select the object on stage. Okay, so we select it, and this is how you change it. Yes, I just removed it. Now watch. Well, I'm not going to see anything because it's now all off the board. You can barely see it. So what we do, click on it, move it in. Now watch. Okay, so you can replace it as well just as easily. Same with the code. All right, so that being said, we're going to go ahead and cut this off for tonight. No. And I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow night. And like I said, we're going over the quiz. So we'll go over more of the quiz tomorrow. And if you have any questions, please let me know. That being said, thank you guys. Have a nice evening. And I'll see you throughout the week.